Cameroon's tourist potential during the Africa Cup of Nations discussed during the ordinary session of the National Tourism Board. Prime Minister Joseph John Gute engages stakeholders to get to work to ensure that visitors of the AFCON go back as brand ambassadors. Government boosts the cocoa and coffee sector with a financial disbursement of 200 billion CFA francs in banks and finance institutions to enhance production through an accord with banks and the state. The 32nd edition of the Olympic Games opens tomorrow in Japanese capital Tokyo with 12 athletes from Team Cameroon to participate. The traditional parade of delegations have been cancelled because of COVID-19 restrictions. All these are right ahead, and those are top stories. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thanks for joining us on this edition of the 7:30 News with me, Gladys Tata.
Despite our efforts, COVID-19 plunged many families into mourning and seriously hampered the functioning of our economy and society.
Welcome back. Prime Minister Joseph John Gute has urged officials tasked with overseeing the improvement of hotel infrastructures and personnel, as well as preparations to host cities ahead of next year's Africa Cup of Nations, to intensify efforts towards enhancing the tourism potentials of the different towns and facilities. He was speaking today in Yaoundé while chairing an extraordinary session of the National Tourism Board. The session reviewed strategies to promote tourism and leisure activities within the framework of AFCON 2020. Star Building correspondent Christian Che Atam reports.
Coming less than 6 months to the African Nations Cup, this extraordinary session of the Tourism Board focused on ways of boosting the potential of Cameroon's hotel and tourism facilities, as well as the capacity of host towns to draw maximum benefit from the event, while at the same time projecting a positive image of Cameroon. The Minister of Tourism said hotels chosen for the event have been upgraded, workers trained on good health and good catering practices, as well as on the promotion of the Cameroon destination.
This session had also to listen to the draft strategy of communications. This very important event should be communicated not only in the country, but in Africa and even in the world. So my duty is to see to it that the strategy is implemented.
The Minister of Decentralization and Local Development said efforts are underway to improve signposts, parking lots, and draw up tourist guides for host towns ahead of next year's AFCON. Prime Minister Joseph John Gute, chairperson of the Tourism Board, has called on the different ministries concerned to intensify efforts aimed at positioning hotels and host towns in Cameroon to make the most of next year's football competition.
Tonight on our new series, My Beautiful Country, Cameroon, we take you to the amazing lakeside resort Petpenum, found an hour away from Bafoussam, one of the host towns of the AFCON 2021 Games. Native hut-style bungalows blend with a breathtaking landscape to make it a small paradise. Visitors would have to brave the 10-kilometer dusty road to visit this must-see vacation spot. Kevin Nembo did the ride across the picturesque hills of the west to Petpenum and says it is a beautiful place to retire.
Petpenum, a touristic attraction with endless enjoyment possibilities at the heart of Koptamo in the Nonze division, is located some 1,100 meters above sea level and offers the luxury of a temperate climate. The over 200 hectares touristic haven, built around Lake Bamenjinda, offers a very large open space, bordered by mountains, a complete change of scenery, ideal place for football lovers from Cameroon, Africa and beyond to come relax and commune with nature during the biggest Africa football fiesta. Petpenoon comprises of a large central building with offices, a restaurant, bar and billiards table, large, luxurious and traditional style rooms and bungalows, intimately located on the golf course with its Africanized decorations inside, richly equipped, making it a prime location. Visitors will be able to go water skiing, play tennis, badminton or table tennis, practice golf, or simply stroll on the lake in a motorboat, visit the surroundings by renting a mountain bike, or sit down to admire the view of the crater, the old volcanoes in the west, breathtaking landscapes, talk less of the sunsets.
And on to this lead story, the government has allocated 200 billion CFA francs to boost cocoa and coffee production in the country, easing the burden of small and medium-sized enterprises affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. The sum was made available thanks to two partnership agreements signed today between the state, bank and microfinance institutions in line with a reform of the 2021 finance law. The signing ceremony was presided over by the Minister of Finance, Louis-Paul Motaze, as Obuane Epole tells us in this report.
The signing of two guarantee agreements between the state bank and state microfinance institutions is expected to help small and medium-sized enterprises, including cocoa and coffee producers in the country, to gradually recover from the adverse effects of the COVID-19 pandemic, as 200 billion CFA francs has been allocated for that purpose.
That will enlarge the capacity of the banking sector to give loans to those enterprises. They should be part of the priority sectors. That will be the beneficiaries of the initiative.
Presiding at the signing ceremony of the convention in Yaoundé, the Minister of Finance, Louis-Paul Motaze, reiterated government's commitment in strengthening bilateral cooperation between the state and banking institutions to enable SMEs obtain low-interest loans.
It's going to help regenerate the activities, when economic activities are moving on, the rest of the thing follow employment, businesses will grow, and we stand able to benefit more from this convention.
The move by government is to ensure a gradual economic recovery during this period of the coronavirus pandemic.
Stakeholders in the electricity sector nationwide have converged on Douala Littoral region to reflect on ways of containing fuel cost evolution that hampers the production, transportation and distribution of electricity in the country. The workshop has provided an occasion for the presiding Minister of Energy and Water Resources, Gaston Esumba Ilondo, to invite the private sector to contribute in restoring financial balance within the sector. Constantine Bom accompanied Minister Ilondo Gaston to Douala and filed in this report for the 7:30 News.
For Cameroonians to have quantity and quality electricity for the rest of 2021, this come together of electricity actors and members of the Cameroon Employers Union is to put a mechanism that will make it possible to contain the evolution of fuel cost and lead to better technical and economic dispatch. The dispatch optimization workshop, according to Minister Ilondo Gaston, will help identify concrete actions falling within the respective competencies of actors, of which the implementation will improve dispatch optimization.
I am here to discuss with economic operators and to make a diagnostic for the electricity sectors and sensitize them on what government is doing now.
Workshop, he added, will find modalities for a scheduled load shedding of homes and special industrial customers, and also generate in the medium term an increase in industrial demand given the surplus production and transport supply capacities following the completion of several projects in the sector. It was an opportunity for the minister to reassure the public that the government is working on making power supply stable, not only in urban areas but also for rural areas.
Public Works Minister Emmanuel Nganu Jumesi has expressed dissatisfaction with the slow pace of construction works on the Soa Esu Awai Road project in the Central region, 24 months after constructions resumed. This was during his work site evaluation visit to the site today. Both construction companies executing the project in 2 lots were instructed by the minister to accelerate execution to completion. The evaluation visit ended at Obala crossover construction site. As you tell us, Joyce Kimbe Forwajo.
2 years after resuming construction works on the Soa-Ese-Awai Road, 82 kilometers long, Super Comfort Enterprise on the Awai-Ese lot is only at 20.8% constructed, and Bofast Company on the Ese-Soa lot is at 30.2% executed, with both over 60% deadline consumed. The supervisory authority expresses dissatisfaction with the pace of work.
That is why I have requested that there should be more workshop on the road. They should also indicate the chronogram they will themselves respect in order to catch the delay, because we are facing already some lateness in the implementation of the project.
Difficulties like the non-liberation of sidewalks, displacement of graves and telephone lines, and the poor quality of gravel used were noted.
We have our expert on the matter who has already given the orientation. I will notify the orientation to the company, so we will use that very aggregate after respecting some conditions.
The companies lobbied for deadline extension to meet up. The tour ended at the construction site of the Obala crossover, which is at over 60% done and finishing envisaged in December 2021.
Dealers in rice, oil, brewery products, cement, iron rods and roofing sheets have been enjoined to ensure that their commodities are available and sold at homologated prices. This was during a series of meetings between stakeholders of the sector and trade officials, with commitments taken to unscrupulously business persons in check. Crise Aritakang tells us more.
Rice, vegetable oil, brewery products, iron rods and cement. Dealers in the different commodities were gathered round the table with trade officials to discuss growing concerns related to availability and affordability.
We have to be sure that the goods will be available, and that will have also price which has conform with the reality of the market. But we cannot accept that, unilaterally they decide to increase the price. We cannot accept it.
Complaints such as increased freight charges globally and some raw materials in insufficient quantities were put forward as the reason for some disruptions observed in the supply chain.
The main conclusion is to see how we can keep the prices affordable for the consumers, since we know that we have a lot of stock on ground and we have also stock coming.
These factories have accepted to respect the normal price, no matter the difficulties they have to import implants and everything. The cement price would be maintained at 4,800 francs.
Homologated prices must be respected, economic operators were reminded.
A consignment of the improved milk Montbéliard cattle species imported from France will arrive Cameroon in the days ahead to boost milk production in the country. The revelation was made by the Minister of Livestock, Fisheries and Animal Industries, Dr. Taiga in Gaundare, after visiting some dairy farms and a mini milk factory. Amos Eno Nyaket Agwat has details from Gaundare.
The arrival of the Montbéliard cattle species in the Adamawa region has significantly improved milk production, to the joy of cattle breeders who are upbeat to reach the target of collecting 1,000 liters of milk on a daily basis. For instance, at the Waldewula breeding farm in Chabal, over 5,000 liters of milk was harnessed for the month of June, with 9 Montbéliard cattle species producing close to 4,000 liters. According to Dr. Ismaila Bello, the director of the ranch, 68% of their total milk production for the month of June 2021 is credited to the Montbéliard cattle species. The mini milk factory in Gaundare, with a capacity of 650 liters daily, runs in full gear. Subsidiary dairy produce like butter, cheese are being produced. More jobs have been created as milk restaurants and distribution points have cropped up. There are hopes that the Montbéliard cattle species with a huge milk production capacity will greatly boost milk production in the Adamawa region.
Meantime, agro-pastoral activities in the Adamawa region have gone through modernization thanks to government's personal involvement in promoting and fostering second-generation agriculture. Ellis Waji Banmia from Crtv Adamawa in Gaundari has a picture of this changing trend of the practice of agro-pastoral activities in the Adamawa region.
Cattle farming in the Adamawa region has experienced enormous changes ever since the government, through the livestock ministry, enforced the policy of second-generation agriculture. Cattle are now kept in enclosures for proper follow-up with pastures cultivated for that purpose. In times past, transhumance used to be the order of the day, as cattle and herdsmen had to move for long distances in search of food and water. Now farmers provide for their animals with the necessary foodstuffs within a particular circumference. A major area of the modernization of agro-pastoral activities is seen in the domain of reproduction. Today, reproduction and multiplication is mostly carried out through the process of artificial insemination, which helps in the modification of the gene of local animals. This too has greatly helped in milk production, as cattle with a huge milk production capacity are now inseminated to produce after their kind. Thus, the modernization of agro-pastoral activities in the Adamawa region has been an added advantage to farmers, as productivity has been on the rise.
The leadership of the National Communication Council and media professionals in Yaoundé have taken commitment to each do its part to clean up the journalism sector that has been invaded by charlatans. The president of the council, Joseph Chebonken Kalabupse, and his team did a tour of media organs where they gave a listening ear to media practitioners and promised them better days ahead. Emmanuela Venue trained the NCC team from the state media through private newspapers, radio and TV stations in town. Her report.
He has set out to bring back the dignity the journalism profession is losing in the country with the advent of citizen journalism marked by misinformation and fake news. The new team at the National Communication Council is in newsrooms in Yaoundé on a mission to sensitize, educate and remind media practitioners of the needs to uphold the ethics of journalism. From the state broadcaster, the CRTV, to the private print media houses like Le Jour, Le Quotidien Emergence and Crise Radio, the NCC team listens, encourages, but remains firm on why the media should build and not destroy.
We are glad that CRTV has accepted to offer 30 minutes of its airtime for us to carry out the sensitization and education of the public and media organs. Le Jour newspaper has accepted to offer a full page for us each month. Risk Radio has also offered to accompany the National Communication Council, the Guardian Post as well, and being a daily, we are starting on a very good footing.
The National Communication Council team's last stopover was at the Guardian Post, the lone English daily newspaper whose effort to stay afloat despite challenges in the sector has been hailed as an example to follow. Here, like elsewhere in other private media houses, the worries of the staff and hierarchy were articulated with hope of a better understanding and guidance from the organ that regulates the media in Cameroon. The regional tour of the media organs by the National Communication Council team ends Friday.
Senior military officers from 20 countries in Africa and Europe have graduated from the International War College here in Yaoundé. The laureates received their insignia and end-of-course attestations during a ceremony chaired by the Minister Delegate at the Presidency in charge of Defense, Joseph Beti Asomo. Details in the following report with Elvis Tiki.
The 16th batch of the International War College graduated with a higher command and staff diploma and a professional master's degree in strategy, defense, conflict and disaster management obtained during the 2020-2021 academic year at the University of Yaoundé 2, SWA. The batch that trained within the context of the COVID-19 pandemic have been congratulated for their discipline.
This institution, which year after year continues to build its reputation and to consolidate its influence.
The senior officers, the cream of every army that graduated with their insignias and end-of-course attestations, were trained by Cameroonian experts. They are now equipped with skills to command battalions and propose strategies at the national and international levels.
There is a long road to be able to give what our country has given us.
The one-year training program, which is the last training for a military officer in his career, was organized with technical assistance from the French Corporation.
Recently appointed senior officials of the General Secretariat of the National Assembly have been installed by the Clerk of the House, Gaston Komba. Tasked to accompany the institution in its modernization drive, the officials were enjoined to be assiduous, innovative and performant in the execution of their duties. Esther Kmer has the details of the ceremony, which took place today at the Hotel des Députés.
A new dawn at the National Assembly with an up-to-the-minute organizational chart of the General Secretariat approved, the senior officials of the now 8 departments take office. A selection based on merit and integrity to be preserved.
To be professional in their job, they have to know that their role is administration and not politics.
With rigor and the respect of norms and hierarchy prescribed, the commissioned have words of honor.
All the glory to God. I promise to do my utmost best to ensure that I serve the institution.
I'm very happy today. I promise to do better now, tomorrow, than before.
In its quest for modernization, a center for bilingualism is indispensable.
The portfolio entails making sure that members of the National Assembly and staff are able to speak, write, and converse in English and French without any difficulty.
The mission to be accomplished rests on enabling the National Assembly significantly contribute to nation building for an emergent Cameroon.
I urge you once again to put on your face masks, to wash your hands regularly, and to consult a physician or any other health personnel if you notice any symptoms. This is the only way to save lives and to curb the spread of the virus.
The search for a COVID-19 cure is still on course, although the vaccine remains the most promising option, according to scientists. In Cameroon, a new local remedy has been added to a list of other drugs proposed in the coronavirus treatment protocol. To tell us about the added value of allengagedcitizens remedy, we meet Baldwin Sama and his guest, Dr. Saliu Sadu, at the Public Health Emergency Operations Center. Hello, Baldwin. Good evening.
Good evening to you, Gladys Tata. As rightly said, with our guest tonight, Dr. Saliu Sadu from the Ministry of Public Health. We are going to discuss about one of these products recently approved to contribute in this national treatment against the fight against the coronavirus in Cameroon, the allengagedcitizens. Good evening to you, Dr. Saliu Sadu.
Good evening.
Tell us, after the approval of this product to be part of the treatment protocol, what feedback do you have so far?
Thank you for the question. Anyway, the feedback is really positive. After the kind of press given by the minister last Thursday, we are having a lot of calls and a lot of witnesses saying that it was a real expectation from the population, because the product has been well known before the recognition. Now that it has been recognized, I think that everybody is really happy to see that they might be using an additive to support the treatment of COVID.
Tell us, Doctor, this product comes to add to the previous treatment protocol we are aware of. What additional value do we have from this product with regards to the treatment protocol we had before this?
Anyway, I think it's as what I was saying before. As people know it, but it was not officially recognized. and were taken. You know, at time they will be taken it with a lot of suspicion. Now that has been recognized, it gives a lot of confidence to this product that can be used safely, and I believe that it might be of real support of what we know as a protocol that is established and that is used now.
Thank you so much, Dr. Saliou Sadou, for that clarification. We have other products that have equally been approved by the government for Cameroon, but we will continue reminding Cameroonians of the need to have themselves vaccinated, to be on the safe side. You get to any of these vaccination centers in the 10 different regions of the country and have yourselves vaccinated against the coronavirus. Back to you, Gladys Tete.
Thank you, Baldwin Summer. And the Minister of Public Health on his maiden tour to the Adamawa region today visited some 2 health centers in the Ngaundal Health District in the GRM. During exchange with management, problems of human resources and equipment were brought to the fore. Minister Manauda appreciated the medical corps for their relentless effort to save lives despite difficult conditions under which they work. Details on the Ngaundal trip with our reporter Beatrice Ngom.
In 48 hours, the minister has already visited 4 health facilities in 4 localities and in 2 health districts. In the Ngaundal Health District, for instance, the Saint Jean Ati Touare Health Center and the divisional health centers visited had basically the same problems. They need specialists, lack quality manpower, equipment and infrastructure. However, COVID-19 vaccination coverage was encouraging. The health district has vaccinated 2,151 persons and recorded 269 cases of COVID-19.
We are more satisfied by the vaccination of health personnel here. We are about 85% of personnel. We are going to reinforce vaccination strategy. We are going to implement a 3rd campaign of vaccination.
Although impressed with the statistics, the minister galvanized the health staff and the population to continue to encourage people to take the boosters. To some of the concerns, solutions were immediate. Hospital material was given. At the Mbe Health Center and in the Dang District Hospital, where the minister concluded day 1 of his visit, he took the commitment to provide them with beds, operation tables and an ambulance. The minister's response to the Dang Health District was immediate. The facility received this ambulance.
And let's talk politics now. Over 60 supporters of the CPDM party in the Ocean Division have received financial aid from the CPDM Senator Gregoire Mbamba. The official's funding program known as ACTS sets out to help start up small businesses for needy supporters of his party. Elsin G reports from Crtv.
Edition of the funding program by Senator Gregoire Mbamba, which aimed to help underprivileged CPTM militants to start or ameliorate their commerce or trade. During the occasion, which brought together hundreds of CPTM supporters, sympathizers, as well as well-wishers of Ocean South 2 section, 61 women received 50,000 francs each as funding.
God has made me what I am today. It's my place to give a helping hand to those who don't have anything to eat. Already 400 people have been helped.
Beneficiaries celebrated the senator for the gesture and applauded President Paul Biya for making such a man their senator. I thank President Paul Biya for making us to have such a generous senator. What he has given me will help me increase my business.
Many women have benefited from it, and we have testimonies of these ladies that have improved their businesses, that have had many other businesses alongside from this funding.
The occasion was an opportunity for Senator Gregoire Mbamba to officially announce his comeback to the political scene.
Internally displaced persons residing in Dvori division of the littoral region have been taught to fish rather than wait to be given fish. During a 4-day workshop jointly organized by the Douala 4 Council and the United Nations Development Programme UNDP, the entrepreneurial skills were built as they also received humanitarian aid. Gladys Atemban Chechuma Banla completes that story from Douala.
This training workshop, initiated by the Mayor of the Douala 4 Council, is aimed at closing a sad chapter in the lives of internally displaced persons in the Vuri division by opening another one full of hope. For 4 days, participants were educated on citizenship and entrepreneurship. They were also guided on how to overcome the trauma experienced due to the crisis in the northwest and southwest regions. Having survived in such a difficult security environment, these IDPs have relocated to Douala, but their living conditions are not the best. Among the difficulties faced are joblessness, lack of shelter and health challenges. The over 1,000 participants at the workshop say they are ready to create income-generating activities thanks to the knowledge acquired during the 4 days training. The mayor of the Douala 4 Council and the United Nations Development Programme, UNDP, have equally promised them financial assistance. Meantime, gifts comprising of basic commodities, dresses and medication have been donated to IDPs in the Makepe Misoke neighborhood in the Douala 5 Council. It is a gesture by the pastor and Christians of the Mission Évangélique Chapelle de Dieu.
Cameroon's 12 athletes at the 2020 Tokyo Olympic Games get to action when the games officially kick off tomorrow. Latest news from Team Cameroon says all competitors are in good shape, with more than 11,000 participants across the globe expected to take part at the Olympics in Japan. Details with Romeo Kenny.
The Cameroon Olympic team, constituted of 12 athletes, is a mixture of 5 men and 7 women competing in 7 disciplines. Before sojourning in Tokyo prior start of games this Friday, the team had been training in Hita. Latest information from the delegation indicates athletes are in fine form pending contest against opponents. Wilfried Sey and world's number 7th Maxime Yemnong will lead country's hopes in boxing in -75 and +91 kilograms. Credence in judo will rely on Are Sofina and Otans Mbala Atangana. Swimming, athletics, table tennis, weightlifting and wrestling legates have equally been acclimatizing hitch-free.
I will compete with the best in the world, and this is an honor for me, and I'm also really happy to represent Cameroon, my country.
Over 11,000 competitors from some 205 countries will take part in 33 sports at the Games. The Olympics will run from July 23 to August 8, 2021.
Well, that's the package we put together for you. Thanks for watching. You've been in the company of Romuald Chuisangok at 8:30 for the news in French. And do join Fred.
Despite our efforts, COVID-19 plunged many families into mourning and seriously hampered the functioning of our economy and society.